So how to make her swim? We have to throw her into the water, right? And if we want to make her swim faster, what must we do? Put some sharks or crocodiles inside, sure can swim faster. Correct, right? But yeah, the funny thing is on leadership, right? We say, never mind, send them for leadership kursus, kepimpinan, sure can. Somehow, after that, we think they can become leaders. But it's not going to happen, no. Leadership, if you look at the success of leadership, right? Listening is only 10% effective after 3 months. Seeing is only 20% effective. Doing is 70% effective. Even that is not fully. Teaching, very effective. So actually from this session, I will talk the most, because I teach. For you, only 10% effective 3 months from now. I bet you in 3 months' time, you ask me, actually, what does Roshan Thiran talk? He talk about this story, you remember 10%, some funny story I told you, but generally you forget everything else. And it's true about everything you do. So if you want to become leaders, you realize that the most important part of leadership is context. Content, it's very easy to get content. You want to learn content and don't need to go to class. Use the best content expert in the world. It's called Google. Very good. Uncle G. Okay, you just start www.google. Ask any question, he'll tell you the answer. Content very easy to get. No need to go for class. Context is very hard. How to teach you context? Like today, I tell you my stories. But until you apply them in your lives, nothing's going to happen. Actually, this talk, to be very honest, it's really a waste of time. Really? Because, no, in my books, because at the heart of it, my goal is to trigger your mind, to take action. What happens, it's not what happens in these 2 hours. It's after this. You got to reflect and say, what's my vision? Where am I? And what are things I must do to learn? How do I push myself in the swimming pool? How do I do things? And I tell you, the best people, in fact, I always laugh. This is how, you look at this model here. This is the model. From up to 6 years old, we follow this model. Suddenly, 7 years old, you go to standard 1. 70% of the time, teacher talk in class. 20% of the important things in life, you learn from your friends in recess time and after school and during the break. And 10% you have homework and practice and so on. Correct, right? Up to university also follow this model. Corporate training also follow this model. But 70% say the classroom listen, only 10% effective. 10% do work, not 70% effective. The real model should be this. This is a kindergarten model. Kindergarten, very intensive one. Always do things one. Practice, try, learn. 70% of the time do. 10% of the time listen. But our whole education system, not just here, no. Every country in the world follows this model. Yeah, we know research has proven not effective for learning. How much so for leadership? So how do you develop leaders? Okay, I'm going to skip on this part. How do you develop leaders? The starting point of developing leaders. This is one of my trainers, a guy called Frederick Heron. He wrote a book called The Developing World. And he says, do you think which is better, to be in a developed world or to be in a developing world? What do you think? Where better to live at? Why? He says this, he says in the developed world, you remember leadership is about having a goal, understanding where you are and reaching it. Now if your goal is to, your goal, Malaysia, your goal to be developed, right? But if you are a developed world, what's your goal? To remain developed. Very exciting goal, right? So when you say your goal is to remain developed, what will you do? Status quo. What does status quo mean? Protection. Fight for my this. Keep our borders safe. All these things, right? Because you're not growing, right? He says he was in Sweden and he said very interesting. He said in Stockholm, I had a photo of Stockholm in 1970. And then I took another photo in Stockholm in 1978. I took a photo of Stockholm in 2008, 30 years. Then he says, I took a photo of Beijing in 1978. And I took a photo of Beijing in 2008. He says, Stockholm, you know what's the difference? One of the buildings, the color changed. But generally the same. Beijing you cannot recognize. And he says, the people in that country, they are willing to learn. Because, and here's the funny thing, actually learning is very painful. You learn how to swim. It's not easy, You have to practice. You learn how to ride bicycle. Anything, learning is actually very hard. And most of us, how many of you like to learn? These are, I tell you, these are all the liars. All bluff. Nobody likes to learn. Nobody likes to learn because learning is painful. Honestly, you learn, you try, go learn a new language. 2 weeks, you say, oh, susah. You can't explain. Learning is actually very painful. Naturally, we don't like to learn, even though our brain likes to learn. But our human spirit doesn't want. We like things stable. You just look, how many times you go back to work and come back, every day you take different road, right? God, you take the same road because already learned the road, just continue on status quo. You see, this is the big problem in society today. Everything is status quo. I'll just show you this video and I want to go to the last part about learning.
You are the developed world. I am the developing world. You think that most things have been developed. I look for new opportunities. You look to your own part of the world for good ideas. I look everywhere for the best ideas. You know all about your world. I know all about my world and yours. You are stuck in the old infrastructure. I absorb and adopt the latest technology. You teach, I learn. You try to protect what you've got. I am determined to get what is mine. Your dream for tomorrow is to keep the status quo. I am dreaming great dreams and making them come true. Change makes you uncomfortable. For me, it is as natural as breathing. You are used to being in the lead. You take it for granted. You think that this gives you an advantage. And you say it would take us 100 years to catch up. I know better. You live in the developed world. I live in the developing world. You don't know where you're headed. I'm already embracing my dreams. Join me. Leave the developed world. Become part of the developing world.
And this is actually not just about countries, it's also about you. Many of us are actually developed people. We think we're already developed. After university, done. I'm already developed. But you know that's the problem? You can never become a great leader. Because the best leaders keep learning and learning and learning until they die. And in fact, if you keep learning all the time, you live longer. So if you Google this study by the nuns of Mankato, they found that there's a group of nuns in Mankato, very strange city, 99. They retire at the age of 99. That's their retirement age. They all live to 110, 120. Almost all of them. Nobody dies before 99. Some die at 100. But very strange. But the reason is they keep learning, they keep growing. And so you must ask yourself, are you a developed person? Or are you not a developed person? And so we come to this I'll come to the last part of this. Now, if you look at, I just want to end this. Now, if you look at leadership, right, leadership really has three big areas. One is, you got to have that vision. You got to have a goal. You got to be sure where you want to go. And that's very hard to do. Some people struggle with that. The second piece is, you have to have the realization, the reality that actually I'm down here. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your department. Be honest with your division. Be honest with our country. Be honest with your company. The third part is, I need to learn. I need to execute. I need to grow. And this is the hardest because it's very painful. It's very painful. Learning is very painful. I'm not bluffing. It's very painful. And you see people like Idris Jala, their progression. Actually, I look at them, their chart is very much like this, They went through a pain. You know why? When you change jobs, you have to go through a pain of learning. You know, the first 6 months, you hate your new job. You always say, I wish I kept my old job because old job comfortable. But after 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, comfortable. Then 2 years later, you go to a new job. You know what happens? You're very frustrated. It happened to me many times. I want to quit GE, At one point, they sent me to Europe. And I was in NBC. I was so happy in NBC. I turned around NBC News. Because of Mother Teresa, thanks to her dad, NBC News, because that weekend, NBC News became number 1. People were fed up with Diana. And the following week, NBC News not bad. People start watching us. And guess who's the hero, right? Me and the producer, right? So I'm a superstar, Limo take me to work, Limo take me back. Wow, I'm living in New York City, I'm playing football for a nice team there. Everything is going well. You know what GE do? Okay, we're sending you to do integration. You know integration? The stuff I failed at in Dallas. To do integration in Europe. You are the new integration leader for Europe. I was so angry, I want to fight with them. No doubt London is a nice place to live, but